All right, joining us now, she's in her first year as head coach at Notre Dame. Of course, has been part of the staff for over multiple decades under Coach Gump, but now has taken over for Coach Gump. And I speak for the first appearance here on In the Circle on D1 Softball. Kris Ganeff, head coach of Notre Dame, coming in. Coach, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How's that? Has it? I mean, have you gotten used to the title, hey, head coach now after so many years? When somebody brings up coach, you're thinking, oh, that's probably Coach Gump they're talking about. Now they're talking
Yeah,
about you now.
it's definitely a little different. Like you have to step back every once in a while. And you're like, oh wait, that is my choice to, it's my ultimate decision. And it's been a little bit different getting used to the girls calling me coach because before it would just be Kris, like that was what they called us. And so they're trying to be super respectful and change into that. So it is a little different because when, that's Deanna, she was coach. So it's like hearing that, but you know what? It's been awesome. The players have been fabulous. The administration, everybody here has been great. So the transition has been smooth, and luckily it has been just like everything has kind of been seamless a little bit, which is, knock on wood. Hopefully we keep that up.
Take me through that time when Coach Gump let you know what her decision was going to be to kind of be done as the head coach, and then that process where you end up getting the head coaching job. What was that? Were you surprised, or what was the emotions like? 'Cause it had to be like mixed feelings there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit like, I knew at some point she was going to at some point. I didn't know it was going to be at the end of last season. And she and I are quite close. I think it was something that she had come to, and she's one of those people that when she makes her mind up to something, there was no changing it. So of course, we all tried to be like, are you sure? Is this what you really want to do? And, I think to your point, like you go through the mix of emotions, you're like shocked, you're sad, and then you're like, okay, I got to get my, stuff together here. What am I going to do? And so I'm lucky to have a really great sport administrator in Jen Vining Smith, and she was like, listen, Kris, like this is what you got to do. And if you want this job, you're gonna fight for it and go for it and go up against the best so that when they name you head coach, they know that you are the one that wanted out. And so I just took that and kind of put my head down and started creating like what were the things that you know ultimately we have to change some things, right? Like we want to make sure that Notre Dame is going in a different direction and starting to get back on that success plan that we had been on for so long. And so you got to take a hard look in the mirror and be like, what are things that we need to change? Because I think ultimately from the outside, the other candidates that could come in, they were looking at it like, this is what I would change. And, I had been a part of building this. And so I had to take that hard look and really step back and be like, honest and look in the mirror and hear what the players were saying and know in myself and believe in what my coaching abilities were to be like, okay, these are the things we need to do differently and why. And it was a good preparation and good plan. And like I said, I was lucky to have good support around me, helping me. And obviously I leaned on Coach Gumpf a lot. So that was extremely helpful because I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't for her and like all the years of her giving me a lot of autonomy and a lot of chances to be out in front and do the things that I needed to do. So I'm very blessed to have had her, and she's still here. She's right across the street actually, so I can see her whenever I need something and can lean on her.
You still come out to some games, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. And actually, like our baseball stadium is right next to ours, and her son is playing in his fifth year at Notre Dame. So she's actually going to have the opportunity to really watch him, for probably the first time in her life. And that's really exciting that it works out that way. And so we're right here. She can come over to ours. We usually start before baseball, and then she can go finish over there. And, it is nice because our players are excited when they get to see her and have her be a part of things.
So take me through when you got the word that you were going to get the job. What went through your mind, emotions, and what was that meeting like with the players once you told them that you were to be the head coach?
Yeah, so everybody was home on break at that point, and so we had a Zoom, and our athletic director Pete Bavacqua, he was on the Zoom with them, and so he talked to them first and kind of let them know like this is what's going on, and then I was let in, and when I was let in, I just kind of gave them a little speech, and they all got very excited, and it was nice to like be able to see some of them like stay on, and their parents got on to say good job. I was getting text after text after text. I had to have my daughter help me because they were coming in, and it was just an exciting moment for our family because we are embedded here, right? Like I've made that choice a long time ago to, you know, kind of make it that it was a happiness choice, and a choice that worked with my family. I didn't want to be someone who was just chasing a title, chasing the name of a school and like picking up my kids every couple years and going places. And that works for some. For me and my husband, we had just made that decision that Notre Dame was home base for us. And if we could get our kids through, grade school through high school, I even have a daughter at St. Mary's across the street from Notre Dame. So college, we could get through without having to do that. That was something that we valued. So, like to be able to be the head coach at the place that I love. I played here and coached here for 25 years. So it means the world. And so I know that I think it's probably equal to what Coach Gumpf had. Like there's nobody that's going to love this program and put their time and effort into it more than I am. And I can tell you that I hired a great staff who is right alongside with me in that. And I'm super lucky that they jumped right in. It's like they've been at Notre Dame the whole time. And so it was just a very exciting, it's just very exciting and it's nice. And like, I love it because it is home and there's no better place in the world for me than Notre Dame.
You see, this you catch on quick on the podcast. I was about to ask you about the assistants. Now, once you got the job, take me through the thinking process of who did you want to bring in to fit in the staff and how you ended up with the staff you've got right now.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the first questions that my administrator said to me was like, start thinking of a list of people who you would want. And ultimately, like, we're going to open it up and see who we get and see if there's something different that's better than that or, might fit here at Notre Dame a little bit differently. And so I had my like short list of people in mind. You're trying to feel it out a little bit, like, hey, if I get this opportunity, would you even want to leave where you're at, or would you be interested in coming here? And so, I have known Coach Boo for a long time. When she first started back at Purdue, like in the D1 level, I had met her through Coach Linda Garza, who played for me at UNLV. So when I first started coaching at 22 years old, moved to Las Vegas, coached at UNLV, she was one of my players. And so that I had always stayed really good friends with her. And that's how I met Coach Boo. So we have been friends for a long time, always admired her, just love her energy and her attitude. And I knew that she loved Notre Dame. She had come here to camp when I was an athlete. And when I was a coach, like I can remember, her name and playing against them at Wisconsin. So I knew of her and I was just really excited because I knew that she could do a really good job with the pitching staff and bring something just a little different, change it up, kind of challenge me in ways. And knowing that she was a head coach, that was like a bonus for me because, I have been in the role for a long time as the associate head coach, but never wore the hat of the head coach. So I knew I would need some guidance and, just kind of double check some things that I was thinking. And so I thought no better person. And so when I got the job, I had a couple candidates, but she was always at the top of my list and it worked out. I had them interview with the players. I wanted the players' perspective because ultimately at the end of the day, like we have to do like I said earlier, we have to do some things different. And so I needed the players' perspective on, are they going to buy into this person? Do they respect them? Do they want the challenges and the things like that these people are presenting? And so with her, that's how it all ended up. With Coach Pooch from Indiana State, I have known him again as long as I've been in coaching. He was one of the first guys I met when he was back at Auburn. And so this is a long time ago. And, we always just, whenever we would see each other out recruiting, we would always stand by each other and chit chat and catch up on our kids and all that stuff. And so I was actually out recruiting before I had been named the head coach. I was still carrying on all the operations and I was out in Ohio and we were just doing our normal check-in. And he just said, hey, if if you ever get that job, maybe you need a new hitting coach. And I was like, wait, is he serious? So I didn't know until I got the job. And then I had like I said, a couple candidates, but he just always rose to the top. He's just a good dude. If you don't know him, he is just a good guy. And I knew that he would be able to do the things that we needed to do to change our offense. I knew we had the tools. I needed someone to be able to develop them and bring it out of them. And he's just got such a positive attitude, chill guy. And he just goes out there and he's there to work. And I think the girls see that. They know that, and they know that he is pushing them and making them better. He can individually develop each kid, and that was huge for us. So going to get him again, another head coach, I thought, hey, this is great. I'm getting some good guidance. And you know what? They both have transitioned into the assistant role really well and letting me kind of do my thing. And then they just, they're able to like help me, challenge me. And I love that because I know that whenever they do come up with a challenge or they have a question or a thought, I know that they have done this before and they've been in this role and they've seen the ups and downs. And so I respect that a lot. My third assistant, Sydney Wimpy, she is just a young kid, first year coaching, but you know what? It fit the role really well for what we were looking for. We wanted someone who was young, had energy, kind of can relate to the kids a little bit more. And she's just, fresh coming out of college. So she can see things from, a different angle than us. Like we joke, like we're the old people, she's the youngster, and like she can kind of get that vibe and catch things and see things a little bit different. So that's been really helpful. And you know what? I want to give her the experience that she needs. I want to give her opportunity, because that is what I was given when I was young, and I know that if she can take a hold of all these things, it's going to really help her toolkit and her future. But I'm also like, I would not be doing this job as well as I'm doing if it wasn't for our director of player personnel and operations, Jamie Spitali. She was a former coach on the previous staff. We knew that this role was going to fill her really well because I needed a right-hand person. I needed someone who also knew Notre Dame back of, from the front and back of their mind, someone who loved it, someone who knows the game really well. I respect her as a coach. I've known her for, gosh, 30 years maybe. And she is just tremendous. And she has transitioned into her new role and really helped the operations of the program. She's just a phenomenal person. So I'm really lucky. My staff is amazing. The support staff is amazing. I can't say enough about them. I know I wouldn't be, having this opportunity without all of them.
All right, how would you describe your style as a head coach now? Are you going to be a delegate? You delegate a lot? What's kind of your style, and then what's your kind of role? As far as, are you more going to re-involve on the defensive side? Or are you one that wants to be involved in all aspects of the game? What's your style?
Yeah, so I'd say like my style is definitely like I want to give them the opportunity to run with the roles that they have been given, right? I think I knew that as an assistant coach for so long when Deanna gave me the autonomy to be like, this is your defense, this is your infield, this is your role, you're recruiting, you just run with it. And so I like to make sure that they know that they are in charge and they have the ability to say, hey, this is what we need. I also wanted to step into this role as a head coach and be like, I want to have a part in everything. So, yes, I'm directly involved with, I am in charge of our infield defense, right? That's me, 100% the infield. But I want to make sure that I have a hand and I know what's going on in the pitching. So I'm not just going to take a word for it. I'm going to make sure that I go to the bullpens, I talk to the pitchers, I know what's going on. In hitting, I throw BP. I'm a really good BP pitcher. So I didn't want to be taken out of that. But I also like it that Coach Pooch will make it so, hey, today, Coach, I have it so you can watch the drills. I could see the players. I could talk to them about their swings, do stuff like that. So having a little bit of a, giving them the freedom, but also I want to know what's going on because at the end of the day, it's gonna stop with me, and I want to know, what they're learning and what they're doing because it's gonna help me. I can learn, and I think that's been really helpful. So, I trust them immensely. I also am very protective of Notre Dame and the program. And so there are things that I know are different about Notre Dame. And so when I have to, I stand my ground on things. But I think we all do it in a way that it works really well together. So for me being in a, almost similar staff for 20 years, without a change, this has been really good for me because I have to listen to other people and I'm learning and, but I also know, like I said, I know Notre Dame and it is different. it's a different place than other places. And there's just certain things that work and some don't. And so, I try to place that on them, and I see the staff really taking to that. Like then they're like, oh, I get it. I see it. I see the difference. And that's been really cool.
You mentioned you took a hard look to within to see what needed to change, what things could you tweak to get
Yeah.
things better, especially after obviously missing the tournament for the first time in forever, which was kind of weird. I remember filling a bracket. I was very awkward, not seeing
Yes.
Notre Dame on it.
Yes.
So, what did you find out when you did that self evaluation of the program? And have you seen has it already paid off in the fall? Or is that one of those things that it kind of goes as the season goes?
Yeah, you know what? I've definitely seen we're reaping the benefits of it. One of the biggest things that I saw was I think that we just kind of fell into, hey, this is the way we do things. Well, the game has evolved a little bit, right? I mean, it evolves every year. There's always a new rule, or there's this, or the hitters have gotten stronger, the pitchers are throwing hard. It's just a different game. And so I think I had to take a hard look at like all the positions and the development process that we were doing. And so one of my main goals was maybe making sure that I was going to hire people who were going to really dive into the individual development of each player. Because I think that we maybe had gotten just in a lump, right? Like we're like, hey, this is how we do things. Well, everybody might not be able to do that. And so I think we've really started to take a look at that. We've started to dive into the analytics a little bit more, using OGX, just kind of just really trying to use the resources that we see the successful teams, like Oklahoma, UCLA, the teams that are consistently there year to year. What are they doing? And why can't we do it? And so we have dove into that a lot, and I've seen just the kids blossoming. And that's been really cool because they know that, hey, my swing is different than so and so's swing. So maybe my drill has to be modified a little bit. And so we've really kind of taken to that process that, it's not an all or nothing thing. It's an individual thing. And how do we take, increase their individual talents to put together this product on the field that's going to pay off. And it just is. I think everybody believed in that as a staff, and the players believed in it. And that's the most important thing. If they don't buy in, you don't have much, and so we've really tried to cultivate that. And there were some things that as a culture, we had a great culture, but we needed to honor the past and like bring it up a little bit. And so we've just changed a few things, changing maybe, wording of things that we just were, in the past was worked for us. We changed that, and we've had the players buy into that. And it's just been like a really beautiful thing. I can't explain it. So I'm really excited for them, to get on the field here, because we just, like I said, got back from California on our training trip. We go out there for, do 3 big solid days of practice and scrimmage, and just seeing it all to come together. It was exciting, because what I've seen now is that the players are, instead of hoping someone else maybe doesn't do as well so they get an opportunity, they just go and do a better job than the person in front of them. And so the talent level just continues to rise, and the competition every day is rising. And that's been awesome, because literally today I couldn't tell you exact starting lineup, because they've all just, it's day to day. Like if you did better than me, I'm going to come out the next day and show you. And so we're really loving that. And I think the idea of opportunity for them has been huge. They want to compete, and they want that opportunity.
Do you have leaders, or is that still evolving?
Yeah, we do. We actually knew right away. I felt like, coming off of last season, I felt like we needed captains in place. I just felt like that was going to be huge. I knew we had great leadership in our senior class. And so what we did was we had people apply. If you wanted to be a captain, apply. So it could be any age, any class. And so we took the applications because we wanted people who wanted to be captains. And we took the applications. I was the only person in our staff that read them. And then we just put the names out. And then we wanted to know what the girls were thinking, right? Who was it? And so three girls were named in place. Shannon Becker, who is one of our pitchers, Emily Tran, who is an outfielder for us, and our third one is Anna Holloway, who is a middle infielder for us. So they were nominated. They've done a great job this fall. We've tried to implement them into like even things off the field in terms of, hey, present to the team something that's important that you think would be good, and so we're trying to make them, it's more than just you picking the uniforms or things like that,
Sure.
like we've got really good leadership in place. And the awesome thing is that the rest of the team who wanted to be leaders, they're still leading. They didn't take that as a like, okay, I don't have a title, I don't lead now. They still are doing that, which is just building their toolkit. And I've been really impressed with them, especially the seniors, the rest of the senior class.
You mentioned Becker. I've seen Becker since she arrived on campus as a freshman. Has seen it all through her time, including times where maybe you were a little short on the pitching staff and she had to carry the load. How has she looked for you? How is she blending in with the new pitching coach and the staff as we've talked about? And how about the rest of the staff behind her?
Yeah, I mean, Shannon is a rock. That's what she's reliable. She is steady. She is the kid that, you check her pulse if it's there in a tight situation because she goes in with like ice in her veins. She is just that kid. And she has done a tremendous job of leading the pitching staff. And really, she has done a tremendous job of being the first person to buy into the new things. And so I think that's why her, especially the rest of the pitching staff respects her, but the team respects her for that. She is always one to be like, check themselves and, make sure like, hey guys, are we doing things that we need to do when things might get difficult? And so she's been a tremendous leader in the pitching staff and like her pitches, we're adding a couple things to them with it, with our new pitching coach, she's added a couple different pitches, different speeds. So that's been really cool, but she is still steady Eddie, reliable. We have a solid pitching staff in the circle. This is probably one of the best that I've seen in the years that I've been here even. So we've got Shannon leading them off. We've got Alexis Loudenslager, who is this is her second year with us. She was a transfer from Princeton. She is just a tremendous pitcher, like student of the game, soaks it all in. She knows herself so well. She knows when she's off and she knows how to like take a second and fix it. She's just a tremendous kid. And I think she's finally feeling like she fits at Notre Dame. It takes, like I said, you can't just pick up a piece and drop it in here. And I think she now knows and has that comfort level, which I think is really translating to her pitching. And you're going to see a really good product out there. You've got Michaela Castor. She is just what I would say is competitive. You could put that kid, sorry, it's saying my internet is unstable. Sorry. She said she's that kid that you could put literally anywhere in the game. And she may have never played it before, but she'll look like she's like the all-star athlete at it. She's just that kind of kid. So Castor is, again, we've developed some different speeds with her to add to her repertoire. She's pitching really well. She provides the power. She throws close to 70 something miles per hour. She is just a good kid, hard, competitive. We've got Cami Kamzik, who is a sophomore for us, did a lot of relief last year. You're going to see her getting some starts and doing a lot more than she did. She, again, tremendous kid, throws hard, drop ball, mixes in a bunch of different things, but she's just a hard working kid. You tell her to run through a wall, she'll run through it. So we love Cami, and she's like our fashion expert on the team. So that's another bonus with her. But then you've got, a Brianne Weiss, who is, a top 100 player as a freshman. And she just moves the ball. Like it's unbelievable, like what she can do. And as a lefty, that's really critical. She's just a good kid. Again, comes in very coachable every day, trying to make something better. She's such a good, hardworking kid. And then finally, our sixth pitcher in the staff is, Paige Callie. And Paige is a junior for us. She has had a couple injuries, and so she's coming back off of that. But you know what? Again, another kid who just works her tail off, comes out there. She also has the ability to play first base. She can hit. So just a good, solid staff. They all just have adapted really well to Coach Boo, and I'm excited to see what they can do in a game. So we're pumped for them.
Yeah, Weiss is tremendous. You mentioned that top 100. She's on the D1 top 100 freshman watch list, rightfully so. And Alexis, going from Princeton to Notre Dame, I mean, first of all, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
By the
right.
way.
Yeah, right. She's so smart. Such a smart kid. Like not a bad gig, right? You're going to walk out of here with your master's from Notre Dame in engineering. I mean, and she's got a Princeton undergrad. So you talk about just a really intelligent, but really awesome human being. It's Lex. She's just a good kid.
No doubt. I think she'll be fine. Whatever
Yeah.
she ends up doing, and she's one of
Yeah,
those intangibles.
she's gonna make it out great. Yeah, she's gonna do something. She's building like airplanes that can fly on solar, like she's just, yeah, she's way above my pay grade. I don't know that stuff.
Very fair. Hey, that's why she's earned their degrees, as you're talking about there. Offensively, what do you want the identity of your offense to be?
So I want to be that team that we call it sequencing. We want to be able to be that team that, hey, our leadoff hitter gets on, someone moves her, and then we're going to hit her in. We got a couple chances to hit her in. We're really, kind of thinking of, doubles, that we want to hit doubles. That's our big thing. Like, you hit doubles in the gaps, you're going to score a lot of runs. So we want to score a lot of runs, and like we will do that in various ways, right? We will turn those doubles into home runs. We have the power and the potential to do that, but our focus is on doubles and like scoring runs. So we have really placed a big emphasis on getting that lead off on, and then what do we do from there? And so our team has just really bought into our base running. We've kind of amped that up a little bit. I think the last couple of years we kind of got stale on that, and we're gonna be stealing some bases. We're gonna be moving. We're gonna take extra bases and look for the free bases that we can get. But we are, yeah, gonna try to be a team that owns the double. That's what we're hoping for, and we have a good balance of lefties and righties, good balance of speed and power. And even our speed has good power. So we're lucky in that aspect that nobody is just tied to one identity. I think our girls have a lot of tools, and that's what we've tried to build off all. And Coach Pooch has done a really good job of making sure that, hey, you know what, we can get more out of your swing, and we can get better finesse on your slaps. And so you're seeing that translate, and I'm really excited because I think it's going to look like a completely different product, although these are the same players, and so I'm excited about that.
Well, one player that jumped out to me when I watched you play last season was Addison Emerald, who was hit 340, 10 home runs, 53 RBIs, and then I was kind of confused when I looked at her bio, and I'm like, wait, she was a freshman? Uh,
Yes.
didn't look like one.
Nope.
What?
And
Give me your thoughts on her.
okay, so Addie Amaral is the kid that shows up every single day, and she is just on. I don't know how to explain it, but she's just that kid that you need her to do something, and in a moment, she'll do it. She shows up. She's not afraid. She's competitive. She has this wonderful laugh and personality. So she brings that. She has that ability to compete, bring people together. She's just a great kid who has a lot of tools. And I've said it from day one with her last year. She's just a kid who is coachable. She's always been. She's so good, but she wants to get better. And so she'll take any feedback. She'll always do what is necessary. And she is that kid that loves Notre Dame, and she is loyal to it and loyal to her teammates, and she's just great. Like I said, I'm blessed with these guys, but Addie is just like, she's a superstar. I mean, she just is, and but she wouldn't act like it, and she's solid, plays the game really well, wants to learn. We've been flipping her from second to short. So you'll see her play a little bit of short and second. You're going to see her playing both. I mean, she's just, again, another kid who's a tremendous athlete. You really could put her anywhere and she'd be fine, but she's going to hold it down in the middle. So
That's pretty good. That's a good start right there. Who do you see elsewhere that could lead your offense and maybe either take a next step, or it could be one of the new faces that makes an immediate impact on your offense?
yeah, I think okay, so I'll name a few. I'm gonna say that these kids will look new, but they're kids that just didn't play last year, like they didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but we've seen this tremendous consistency from three of our sophomores, from Olivia Levitt, Sydney Peck, and Christina Williamson. They just have put their heads down from last year, and they knew they had some seniors in front of them, but they put their heads down, and every single day they worked to get better, and they've continued that, and now they're seeing it, and they are bats that we can't keep out of the lineup. I mean, they just keep getting it done. And so they're going to be new, although they're sophomores. So I'm really excited about them. I'm super excited about our freshman class, especially Kaya Cortez. She was another one who is a D1 100 freshman. She's a left-handed power hitting first baseman. She's just she just goes up with this like look on her face like she's gonna just wallop the ball. I mean, she just every single time. And I always tell her like you can tell when she may be a little timid of what she's facing because she'll, maybe doesn't swing as hard. And I'm like, just swing. Who cares if you strike out? Because you're not like she just has this ability to connect barrel to the ball. So we want her to get everything we can in that swing. And she's just another one who's a good kid. But that whole freshman class has just been impressive this fall, all of them. And I mean, all the way from Bree and Kaya, who were, ranked, to these kids who are going to really, I think, surprise people when they play, like Avery Houlihan. I mean, she has just continued day after day to be a great player. She's, a local Chicago area kid. Caroline O'Brien. They're all tremendous. Like they just have done a good job of coming in here and not acting like freshmen. Caitlin Early, another kid. I mean, they just, as a class, I really have appreciated them being my first freshman class. It's kind of like they're my class that came in with me here, and they just bring the level every day and rise it. So it's been great. I mean, but we just like I said earlier, it's going to be really hard to make a lineup. We have kids in all the classes. We have seniors like Jane Cronenberger who just crunches the ball. You got Emily Tran, who is just speed, and she has great finesse on her slap game. And I mean, she's just a good kid. You got, Mickey Winchell out in the outfield. She can slap, she can hit home runs. She's just a true triple threat kind of a kid, and a great kid. I mean, it's just up and down the lineup. If you ask me something about all of them, I would tell you like they're all going to have their moment that's going to make it so this program is successful.
It sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's competitive internally, and there's a lot of hunger in there, a bit
Yes.
of a chip. Is that accurate?
100% accurate. They are biting at the chomp to get their opportunity. And they know when they get their opportunity, like you can tell when they get their opportunity, they just want to keep getting better because they don't want to lose it, right? They want to earn it and keep it. And so I think that like exactly like you said, like they have that competitiveness that someone's on their heels. And so they're going to turn it up, and from top to bottom, they have all done exactly what we asked of them.
Tell me a little bit about your journey. How'd you get involved in softball as you were playing?
So when I was like 10 years old is when I first started playing. And there were some friends in school who played. And so I asked my mom to take me up to the like sign-ups. You had to go to we had to go to like the middle school and you do a sign up. And when we walked in, they were like, "Oh, we're looking for people to coach a team." And I said, "Well, will dad do it?" Like he doesn't know any, and God bless my dad. I love him so much. He is the best dad in the whole world. He does not know how to coach baseball or softball, but he said yes. So it was him and his assistant from work, and then my older brother, who was 16 at the time. They coached our team. And I started off playing first base, and thought I wanted to pitch. First time I pitched an inning, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. So then our catcher was missing, and I was like, I'd like to do that. I'll fill in. And I never played another position after that. I always caught. So I went from all the way from Westerville Little League all the way up through high school, and like back in my time, I mean, we didn't have email, so you were writing letters to coaches, to get their attention. And so I sent out all my letters everywhere, and my brother encouraged me to send one to Notre Dame, and I did. And my teammate of mine, her name was Shelly Hanchu. She and I were both interested in Notre Dame. So they came out to watch us at an indoor league that we played in. So we played in the 6-on-6 league. And so Coach Liz Miller and Kathy Spybrook came and they watched us. And after like that, you would do like a almost like a face-to-face visit, And so they're sitting up there talking to us. And then I got invited on a visit. And again, I tell the girls all this all the time. Back in that time, when I came on my visit here to Notre Dame, I came with the other catcher that was also going for the position, right? And so you didn't leave with an offer. They had to size you up and see if they liked you and if you fit. And then I got home, and about a week later, I got the phone call, and my dad told me to say yes no matter what. He was like, don't hang up that phone. He's like, you're going to Notre Dame. And I'm so thankful for that, because there's not a better place. Like, it just was, where I wanted to be. And when I was here, so this is going to sound really bad probably, but Notre Dame is a high academic
Sure.
institution. I was smart in high school, but I wouldn't say I was high academic like these kids are. I was smart. I could hold my own. But when I came here, I wanted to play softball. Like, I loved it so much. Like, I didn't realize the how much my academics was going to play a part, like, in my life as well, because I knew Notre Dame, but I loved the Leprechaun. I loved softball, so that's what I was here to do. So I was like softball 24/7. My coaches knew that this is probably something that I should do, because I wasn't interested in the business world. I wasn't interested in all these things that, like, I wasn't Alexis Loudenslager coming in with this engineering. You know what I mean? I wasn't that. So I knew I loved softball so much, and they knew I had this high energy and that I could probably help some people. And so they started helping me connect. I was either looking at graduate, positions, or I was looking for an assistant. And the one at UNLV opened up. I went out for a visit with Coach Shan McDonald. She literally had me on the visit, watching film, evaluating, like, doing all this stuff. How would you plan practice? How did all that? And you know what? It was awesome. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to also, I had grown up in Columbus, Ohio, went to Notre Dame, which is only 4 hours away. So I'd never really been out anywhere beyond that. And so I moved to Las Vegas, spent 2 years there learning so much. And I always credit what I learned there to today, because you were the grounds crew, you were the fundraiser, you did all this stuff as a coach. And you know what? It really, like, it made me appreciate the fact that, like, once I make it at a higher level, I'm always going to appreciate the fact that, what, people are doing these things, and you need to help out and do it, anything, nothing's below you. And so that was my journey from there. And then I got, after 2 years of being there, an assistant coach here at Notre Dame left. And so Liz Miller called me, asked me if I wanted to come back to Notre Dame. And I had just started dating my husband at the time. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my dream, but I also love this guy. And so I remember calling him, and he was like, yeah, we'll move to South Bend. So, I did it, came here to work for Coach Miller. And then she actually retired about 3 weeks into me working here at Notre Dame. And she just made that decision. It was almost like Coach Gump, right? She makes this decision, you're
Sure.
not changing her mind. So she retires. So now it's Deanna and I, and Deanna's like, I'm going for the job. Okay, so I was living at Deanna's house because my furniture hadn't come. And so I was living there, and we would practice every night her interview. Like, we would pretend, her husband and I would sit on the couch, and we'd ask her questions. And every day we would go to the Basilica, which is the church here on campus, and we would say a prayer, and we would do all that stuff. And she got the job. And then, like I said, we made that decision as a family to stay here. And I knew, like, I love Coach Gump so much that, you know what, it is a family, and it was a family. And so it was more than just a job. And I was blessed to have that journey.
That is wild. It's like a full circle
It
moment
totally is.
that you
So
come back, she, coach retires, and then she goes for the job,
yeah.
gets promoted, and here we are later. You're taking over for her as you go for the job and you get promoted. That's kind of destiny. I don't know if you believe into that, but that's kind of
Totally.
unique.
I do. I do. I mean, there's just so many things that lined up that this can't be, just random. This is totally, God had his hands in this for us, and he knew that whole journey and helped us along it. He just kept guiding us where to go. And I'm so blessed for that, because literally, like, I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. I just can't. Like, it's just such a special place. And you either love it or you hate it. That's how people are with Notre Dame. And I'm definitely a lover. And you see it happen to the people who it gets in their soul. It just does. And like, like, when we bring kids on campus recruiting, you can tell right away the ones that have just, it's in them and it's never going to leave them. Because I remember being that kid coming to campus as a recruit and being like, I don't go to Notre Dame now, I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? It gets in you. And so you can tell right away whether a kid, if they don't have that, we don't want that. We don't want them, because you're going to force them into a situation that's just not going to work for them. And so we can tell, like when we see a kid that's just eating it and they're bleeding blue and gold right away, we want them.
How much of that? Because you mentioned when you talked during the process about what needed to change. But one thing that doesn't need to change is you know what it's like to be a Notre Dame student athlete.
Yeah.
You've done it as a student athlete yourself, and you've seen it as a coach. That's something that somebody outside that was interested in the job can't relate to. How much
Yeah.
did you relay that message? Because Notre Dame is unique in that standard. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you don't
Yeah.
it's different than every other school. You don't just get any kid. You've got to earn it from an academic and from a playing standpoint.
Yes, and I knew that that was an advantage for me because I do know everything so well in terms of the internals, right? Like I might not know how to be a head coach yet, and I'm learning and still making that happen, but I did know what it takes to make it here. And so that was something that I really tried to sell in the process was, you know what? You don't have to teach me the academic side of the admission side of things. You don't have to teach me who do I go to for this and that. I can focus on the team. That was my big thing. Like I can jump in right away and try to repair the things that we know we need to do to get better. And so I don't have to focus on buying a house. I didn't have to focus on, finding schools for my kids. I didn't have to do all that. And I think that, ultimately was one of the things that was a huge bonus for me was that, you know what, I do know this place and I could focus on what we needed. We needed to make this, make Notre Dame get back on the map because I take that personally, that we didn't make it in last year. I was one of the kids on the 1999 team that started the streak. And so I was a player that turned it around. And as a coach, continued, helping with the other coaches and with Coach Gum, putting our success in it. And like I took that as a big chip on the shoulder. And I think our players do as well. They don't want to be that team that nobody knows about. They want to be Notre Dame, that consistently successful team. And that's what we're hoping for and doing.
What kind of player were you? If like the coach in you would evaluate you, the player, how would you evaluate the player?
I think that I was this kid who would run through walls for you. I would play softball 24/7 if you needed me to. I would trying to fix the internet again there. Sorry. I would be the kid that was always trying to get better. I had high energy. I had fun doing it. I love it. And I try to put that into our players now. Like I told them when I was going for the job, like there's certain things that need to change, but I'm not going to change who I am. I am a relationship builder. I am high energy. I am love at the core. And I am someone who is going to try to get the best out of you and let you know that I'm proud of you for doing that. And so I think that's how I was as a player. And I think I've just evolved, into learning more about the game, learning that wins and losses aren't everything in life. I think learning that, that why can't Notre Dame softball be one of my huge cores that I take care of in my life? There's only so much that you can fit in your bucket, but at the center of it, and that's what we try to teach the players is if you rely on certain things as the center of your base and what you believe in, you can do a lot more than you think, and so I think that we've tried to impose that on the players. But yeah, I think that's definitely me. I'm just who I am. I just I love these guys so much and they know that and I hope they know that and I try to make sure that they understand that like at the end of the day, how they play softball is not going to make who they are as a human being. That's just one of the things that they are really good at. They're good softball players. Like we have great softball players, but they're also at the best institution academically. They're also wonderful daughters, sisters, like they are just great people. And softball is just one of those things. And I want them to know that at the end of the day, if it wasn't softball didn't go their way that day, we're going to be fine the next day. And we're going to be fine the next day. And in the future, we're going to be wonderful. And so we just kind of focus on that and making so that if they do make mistakes, hey, we're learning from them. We're going to get better from them. And hopefully that's what you'll see. You'll see a team that just has fun, has high energy, and they love playing the game together.
Well, you mentioned you're kind of learning now being the head coach after being promoted. There was another coach on campus a few years ago. They got promoted as a first time head coach there at football. I believe Marcus Freeman. I think he's doing pretty well. Last we checked, as we record this, they're Notre Dame getting ready for play for the national championship. I wonder, do you draw inspiration from that? Because I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he was a defensive coordinator under Brian Kelly when he came over from Cincinnati, and then once
Yeah.
Brian left, he got promoted. And people are like, "What? Like, is he ready
Yeah.
for this job at Notre Dame?" I mean, do you draw parallels there and maybe some inspiration from that standpoint of what he's been doing with the football program?
Yeah, actually, like I just got chills when you're saying that because I do. Like I watched, I don't know if anybody, but on Peacock, they had a series about inside like the football team and what was going on. And I watched it because actually Michaela Castor, who's a junior on our team, she was part of the filming production. That's what
Ooh.
she wants to do. And so it was really cool because I was like, oh, I want to watch it because she worked on this. And you know what? You listen to him talk and here's the thing, he's successful because he understands that piece that we talked about. Notre Dame is different. So you can't take anybody and put them in here and expect them to succeed. And he knew that. And he relied on who he is. And he is a player's coach. I mean, he knows those guys. He loves those guys. And you can see it in everything that he does. Like, look at his emotion on the sideline. Like, he just, when they do something good, he's all about it. And like, actually was just telling the girls the other day, I go, after he wins the national championship, I really want to see if I get like 20 minutes of his time because I do feel that like parallel between him. Like he could give me some wisdom on, because he was saying, you know, in his first year, he learned a lot. Like the very first game he coached, they lost. They lost to Marshall, someone they shouldn't lose to, right? And he's like, there are just certain things that now I know I would do different, you know? And so I really wish I could get like 20 minutes of his time to find out. But you know what? We're really blessed because there are some great coaches on this campus and everybody is so willing to like share their time and energy and all that. Like Niele Ivy is one of the best women's basketball coaches in the country. And like she kind of has the same story too, a little bit similar. She, you know, was a player here at Notre Dame. She was a longtime assistant to Muffet McGraw. She went and coached in the NBA and then came back here to coach you know, Notre Dame. And she's just a tremendous thing I can say is she reminds me of the Niele that I knew in college. You know, to today, she didn't change that. Like she's still solid who she is, competitor, you know, knows the game. She's nice to other humans. She's just a good person. And so that happens in almost all of our sports here. I mean, everybody you turn to, they're willing to help you. And so I really did rely on a lot of the women's coaches that were already in place, the head coaches here of programs, talk to them, you know, because I wanted their perspective when I was going through the interview process. And they all were willing to like share their materials, talk to me, go on walks, do stuff like that. So it was a really supportive network and like again, it's just a special place.
Well, I think one suggestion about getting 20 minutes with Marcus Freeman, just invite him to throw out the first pitch. That's a start.
Exactly.
Just start with there. You
That's
know.
exactly what Jamie said. She was like, "We got to get him to throw out a first pitch," and I'm like, "Yes, please. That would be awesome."
And what's amazing about him is, as you mentioned earlier, you be at Notre Dame football, especially, it's a kind of a people either love him or hate him type of deal. But I have noticed, I don't know if you picked up on it, there's a lot of people that are rooting for Notre Dame during this whole playoff because of him and his personality, the way he conducts himself in those in-game interviews and his personality. I think he's won a lot of people have become Notre Dame fans because of him. Have you? I don't know if
Yeah.
you've picked up on that during this run.
Totally. It's been awesome because it's like I'm okay, my kids get my own daughters are like always laughing at me because I'm obsessed with TikTok. Like I love to watch TikTok. And it's great though now because my feed is all Notre Dame and it's like this is wonderful. Finally, the rest of the world is figuring out what was so special about this place. And so like the people that knew it, we knew it already. And now there's all
Yeah.
these people that are getting to share in it. And that's wonderful because it brings so much like just energy and presence and positive light on this place that's in Northwest Indiana. You know what I mean? It's like we're out here and people are always like, wait, Notre Dame's in South Bend, Indiana? Yep, it is, you know, and like we're covered with snow on the ground right now, but it's just this wonderful community because Notre Dame is South Bend. Like it really is. And it's awesome because it gives a place for everybody here to kind of, you know, dive into. And so it's been awesome watching the support that we're getting, you know, from all over the place. Probably everywhere but Columbus, you know, right now.
Yeah,
So
sure, understandable. Yeah, that's it is what it is. Two quick things before I let you go.
yeah,
ACC, it's a new look
yeah,
ACC with the additions of Stanford and Cal. Your
yep.
thoughts on the new look ACC from that standpoint, and your vision for a league that keeps getting stronger now with those two additions already with what you already have.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're adding teams in who are just going to make us better. I think it's awesome because we are in a conference that literally every weekend you're playing in a regional format. I mean, you're playing teams that you're going to see in the postseason. So all it can do is prepare you, and it gives you the opportunity, playing a 3-game series against these awesome teams that have fabulous coaches and wonderful players. Like, you just get the opportunity to learn too, like, okay, how can we beat them? How can we, can beat them again? Or, do all that stuff. It's like, it's always keeping you on your toes. It's an exciting atmosphere to be in. Everybody in our conference has the ability to go to the postseason and go far in the postseason, and that's exciting. And so I think all you're going to see is us keep trying to compete against, the SEC, and keep going against them. And as a conference, like, I fully believe, like, in our conference so much, like, any team that goes can represent it. I mean, look what Duke did. Look what, Florida State consistently does. We just have team after team, you name it. Like, they're just good squads that play softball well, and they're good people. Like I said, that's important to me. I think that's at the end of the day the great thing, and we've just got great people, and so you're learning. And I reached out to a lot of them during the process too, and they were helpful in me and the endeavors and what I was going for. So I'm just so blessed to be in this conference, and we're excited to compete. I think it's going to be awesome having Stanford and Cal. I mean, I think it just provides another, like, just step it up again, right? Throw another couple people in there who are going to really compete, and it makes it nice. Like, we get to go to California, they get to come here. We get to experience some different things, and that's always great for our programs. And yeah, we're pumped for it. I love the ACC.
From a scheduling standpoint, you travel a lot to begin with.
Yep.
With this edition, on years you have to go over there, is that like a big deal, or is it not a big deal considering you travel a lot already? Is there an impact there on your scheduling down the road?
I think you'll just probably, for us, like, if I know it's a year that we have to go to Stanford or Cal, maybe our preseason tournaments won't be out west. I think it
Sure.
might be like, so when I say preseason, I mean like that first 4 weeks of,
Yeah.
play. So, you'll probably see us just schedule that a little different, just so that, hey, you got to keep in mind, like, that time change and jet lag, like, that makes an effect on the players. So having to only do it once versus three times, so we'll just look at it like that. But we know that we are tied with Stanford, so they're either coming here or we're going there every year, which I think is awesome. That's a great, like, two high academic institutions that have these awesome sports programs playing against each other every year. You want that. And so we're excited about it. We also have some players that are from that area, so that's very helpful. Even if we go to Cal, we're right there, going against some good competitors, and then also our players get to go home. So that's awesome. So I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. I don't know the repercussions till we do it, but
Sure.
I'm excited for it.
I don't think anybody does. That's unique with college
Yeah,
athletics, where it's going with realignment. We just kind of take it day by day,
exactly.
year by year. My last question: once
Yep.
you get going here in the season, what are a couple things you're going to look for? Maybe questions you have about your team that you're looking forward to finding out once you play other teams that you think will help determine how the season goes.
Yeah, okay. So I think it'll be I'm excited to see us play other batters, right? Like, our pitchers face other batters. I'm excited to see that what they do. Like, is the ball moving the way that we think it is against competitors? I'm also excited to see our hitters get in there, and it gets monotonous when you're seeing the same pitching. And for our pitchers too, they're like, oh man, we got to keep throwing to these guys, and they know us. And so I'm excited to see our hitters get in there and see how our offense actually formulates. What is our identity? How does it end up shaking out? But I think I'm most excited about just seeing the identity of the team in general. Like, are they a team that plays with energy? Are they a team that plays with swag? Are they, what are they? And, like, just seeing how it's all the things that we've implemented, how does it work out for us? And, like, what's the product that everybody outside of here sees? Because that's important. We want to be a product that's fun to watch. We want people to come out here and support us, and we want them to support us wherever we go, but we want to be noticed. We want people to say, hey, I like playing against that team because, they never quit, or they had such great energy. They, had each other's backs. That'll be important for us. And I think at the end of the day, then, we will be successful because of that.
Well, Coach, I'm excited for you. Congrats.
Thank
on
you.
getting the job. And like I said, good luck this season. I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point. But in the
Yes.
meantime, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us
Thank you
and
so
share
much.
your
I don't know.
knowledge
I
here.
think I may have cut out a little bit,
Oh, no,
but
thank you
can you
for
hear
coming
me?
on. Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay. I was going
Uh,
to say, just thank you. Like, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support and go Irish.